Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Russ Gannum, and I am Associate Provost and Dean of International Programs at the University of Iowa. And I would like to welcome you to this afternoon's session on the U.S. Fulbright Scholar Program information session. And the goal of our session today is to give our faculty and staff information on how to apply for Fulbright awards. As you know, the University of Iowa has had a lot of success in the student realm, either through the research study grants or through the English Teaching Assistant Award program. We've had good success as well on the faculty side, but we'd like to see more applications. And to that end, we want to distribute more information to our faculty and staff population. And as a result, we've invited our dear friend and colleague, Afrodita Krasniqi, to join us this afternoon. Let me give you a brief bio about Afrodita, and then she's got a presentation, and then we will move forward with our discussion. So Afrodita is an outreach and recruitment specialist at the Institute of International Education, otherwise known as IIE, in New York City. And Afrodita is joining us from New York this afternoon. So Afrodita focuses on the Fulbright U.S. Scholar Program. In her role, she oversees the Fulbright Scholar Alumni Ambassador Program. She also leads initiatives with the Fulbright Scholar Liaisons on U.S. campuses, and also serves as the lead for the Europe and Eurasia region. Before joining IEE in 2017, Afrodita spent 17 years as a cultural exchanges advisor at the U.S. Embassy in Kosovo. As you know, Kosovo and Iowa have a long-standing and very deep relationship. So the fact that Afrodita is from Kosovo originally makes this collaboration even stronger and more meaningful. Afrodita holds a BA in English language and literature, and she is proficient in both Albanian, her native language, and Serbian. She has a deep commitment to fostering connections between people, and Afrodita is celebrating her 24th year of dedicated service to the Fulbright program. And she can be reached at akrasniqi@iie.org. We will put her email in the chat. And before I turn things over to Afrodita, I would like to thank several people. Dan Vorwerk in our office, who put together today's webinar, Amy Green, who is staffing the tech board, as it were. Also Karen Walksmith, who is our Fulbright Services Coordinator and the director of our Fulbright program here on campus. Also, Ann Knutson, who is the grants administrator in international programs. Also, she works with faculty and has connected with Afrodita on occasions in the past. We'd also like to thank our audience for attending today's session. Please note that this workshop will be recorded and posted on IP's YouTube channel. So you will be able to access it within the next week or so. One other thing to note is that if you have additional questions for Afrodita, please submit them via the Q&A function, and I will read them over the course of this conversation. And we will save a little bit of time at the end for Q&A. So without any further delay, I'd just like to welcome Afrodita. Afrodita, I hear that New York City's weather is the same as ours in Iowa today. So cold, rainy, wet. Winter seems to be hanging on a little bit. Is that right?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Russell, for this warm welcome on such a rainy and cold day. I have never visited Iowa, but it's one of my goals to visit you in person soon. So hopefully next time we're able to do this in person. But thank you so much for scheduling and organizing, putting together this session, and such a pleasure for me to be here, especially with Iowa, because I know that Kosovo has like a sister state or sister city programs. So it is an honor for me to be here today. So like you mentioned, I have a presentation for you all today. So I'm gonna try to share my screen. So let's see if this works. Hopefully it does. And we're gonna talk about a wonderful program, the 4x2 Scholar program. I really love this program, as Russell mentioned. I've been doing this for almost a quarter of century, so it is really a nice opportunity for people to do teaching, research, professional projects, and specifically we're welcoming faculty, academics, researchers, teachers to participate in the program. So I'm Afrodita Krasniqi, as Russell mentioned, and I work on the 4x2 Scholar program, and I'm based in New York City working for IIE. So today we're going to talk about the program overview, why you should consider Fulbright, what makes you an eligible candidate, and I'm going to go over the types of the awards we offer. I will go over the application cycle and also share with you some tips on putting together a strong application. And in the end, we'll take questions. So my presentation shouldn't last more than 20 minutes. And you can always put your questions in the Q&A box, like Russell mentioned. And but, you know, sometimes I will even answer your question throughout my presentation. So what is Fulbright program and what is the mission of the program? So before you start putting together your application and the rationale, just think about this fascinating history that the program has had so far. It was established in 1946, and it is considered U.S. government's flagship international educational cultural exchange program, and it is sponsored by the U.S. Department of State. Whereas here in the US, it is administered by IIE, the organization I work for, and overseas the program is managed, administered, and run by, in majority of the countries, it's by US embassies, an organization that I used to work for example, in Kosovo. So, you know, by now I've seen the full cycle of the Fulbright program. And then there are many countries, there are more developed countries, the program is managed by Fulbright commissions. We are in partnership with 160 countries worldwide, and we do have so many different Fulbright programs. But just today, I'm going to talk about the 4x2 Scholar program that offers faculty and staff to do teaching, research, or even seminars abroad. And always keep in mind that besides being an accomplished scholar, teacher, researcher, Fulbright wants you also to think about how you can serve as a bridge and foster mutual understanding between nations. So this is where Fulbright expects you to be a cultural ambassador, and that is something you have to incorporate as part of your application. So as a program that represents the American people, diversity and inclusion is a critical part of our work. We strive to have a broad range of American experiences represented by Fulbrighters abroad. So with that in mind, we're actively seeking a diverse pool of applicants, underrepresented institutions like yours, because Russell mentioned that you are well represented in the student program maybe, but not so much in the scholar side. So you want to also think about that. And no matter where you're from in the US or how you identify, the Fulbright program welcomes you to participate. Just so you see how large the Fulbright program is, annually there are 8,000 participants, both international scholars and students and American scholars and students going abroad. So for the program we're going to talk about today, the Fulbright Scholar program, we select about 900 faculty, professionals, staff, and administrators to go abroad. And we host that many visiting scholars. So if you're selected for a Fulbright Scholar program, you go abroad, you meet wonderful colleagues in your field or outside your field. You can encourage them to maybe come back, come to your institution, and then consider applying for the visiting scholars. We do have a robust Fulbright student program that just launched yesterday. So if you have good students who are interested, to also study and research and serve as cultural ambassadors, encourage them to think about this. We do host a large group of foreign students as well as language teaching assistants coming from various countries and teaching their language here in U.S. institutions. Now, why should you consider Fulbright? So we survey alumni and returning Fulbrighters every year, and they all have one thing in common. They all say Fulbright is indeed a transformational experience. It allows you to meet new people, new cultures, get familiar with new type of research, maybe new methods, also teaching perspectives, and also serve as cultural ambassador, which is critical for becoming a Fulbright U.S. scholar. You will always be recognized as a Fulbright scholar in your career, and then you will have access to this broad, supportive alumni network. Another very unique aspect of the Fulbright program is that it is considered a family-friendly program, because approximately 60% of our awards offer dependent support. So if you're not sure, if you want to go, but you're not sure about, thinking about your family members, then you want to consider some of these opportunities do provide support for your family members, and then that can have an impact in their life as well. Another strong reason to consider Fulbright is that we're a very supportive program. We do survey applicants every year, and they tell us 70% of them engage with IIE staff, with my colleagues and me. We do have, for every award, dedicated staff members, and we work closely with applicants, advise them and give them tips, and we have webinars and other resources for applicants. And then if you're selected, you will be getting continued support while in the country, because we do have other team members at IIE who prepare you for the travel and for all the other details of the program. You will have access to the Fulbright Scholar Liaisons. So every school will have a Fulbright Scholar Liaison. So I believe Karen is for your school. So you can just check about the supportive mechanisms, what are the leave policies, what's been done before, and how did people navigate leave from your university. Who is eligible for a Fulbright? So first of all, you must be a U.S. citizen to be eligible for a Fulbright. And these are overall eligibility requirements. So we do have many questions from green card holders if they're eligible. Unfortunately, they're not. But once they become U.S. citizens, then they are instantly eligible. For the degree and experience as required by awards section, the categories listed are the most common ones seen in the award requirements tab. So I'm going to do a website walkthrough soon so that you can see where to find this important information. The official policy on alumni and then returning Fulbrighters, if we have any alumni here in the room, hi to everyone, and thank you for your continuous interest to be part of the Fulbright program. So as long as 2 years have passed from your last Fulbright, you are eligible to apply for another Fulbright. So you want to just check, like it should be the exact date, because we do have the application deadline this year is September 16, and we're currently accepting applications for the academic year 2025-2026. Now, what should you do? You're interested on the Fulbright program, you want to apply, and you're joining this session to learn more. So please note that we do have over 400 awards in more than 100 countries. You can do teaching, you can do research, both combined, or even carry out professional projects, which is not teaching, not research, is serving as a consultant. And we do have 2-week seminars for administrators. So this is our website, and I'm going to also now go and do a quick website walkthrough. So let me just stop sharing here. I don't want to share something else that you don't want to see my desktop or anything else, but let me go back to sharing our website. So I'm going to also put this in the chat so that everybody can have access to the website, and you can just follow along, because sometimes it's easier, when you see the website and then go to the fulbrightscholars.org and make sure you bookmark this website if you're interested in applying, because then you go back and you will always have it ready there. It's just like some tips for you to, little details for you to remember. Then you go straight to the awards tab here, and you will land on this page with information about 402 awards. So we do have this search, a little Google search for you all to just, maybe you want to search just your discipline, maybe just the country directly, or anything that interests you that is not in the filters here. But we do have the program represented in all the world regions, so you can just select a filter. We do have the program running in over 100 countries. So in the drop-down list, you can just go directly there and just check what are the specific countries offering multi-country awards. You can filter by disciplines. We do have 70 disciplines represented here. So then you can filter by the award types, and then make sure you click on these extra question marks. It's going to provide you with additional information. Activity type. So if you want to do a professional project or seminar or any of these activities, and then more information on the question marks. The award length is going to show you and filter for the awards that you're interested to consider, and even has the flex option, which is for those who cannot take sabbatical or leave of absence. Flex option means you can do multiple visits within the span of 2 years. So you go back and forth, so you do not miss much here. You're also doing a Fulbright by going there maybe 2 or 3 times, staying 1 or 2 months, and then completing a Fulbright within 2 years. You can filter by degree requirement here. Make sure you expand those filters, the invitation requirement, because there are many countries who require a letter of invitation. But there are also countries who have just the preferred option, or it's optional, or do not even get a letter of invitation. And career profile, so you can filter. So since you can only apply for 1 award per competition, you want to make sure you use these filters so you narrow down your selection, trying to find the best match for you. And then lastly here, if you're interested to know what awards are allowing for dependent benefits. So this way you filter, and then let's say, for example, you end up, I'm going to just click on this award in Albania, which is about climate change, education, and advocacy. So we do have some awards that are discipline specific, and I always encourage applicants to consider these discipline specific awards rather than going back here. We do have like multi-disciplines, all disciplines. I mean, of course, if you cannot find your discipline as a specific award, that's fine. Then you want to consider the old discipline. But first, look for, let's say if you're an expert in climate change and you want to do an impactful work in a small country of Albania. Albania is also next to Kosovo. So if you really want to go to Kosovo, we do have awards in Kosovo, but also Albania has a very innovative Fulbright program that every year they're trying to bring new disciplines and things that are in trend with research and teaching in the region. So for example, every award will have these 4 different tabs, so take some time to read through them. So the award details will have information about the activity, career profile, degree requirement, the award dates, the disciplines, more information about what you can do. What is this award activity now? You will notice some countries are more resourceful than others. Like, for example, Albania is very resourceful. They're providing information about the host institution, background about this host, the name of the host institution, and what is the area of interest, the focus. So the second tab is going to show you information about the dual citizenship, in case you have dual citizenship. There are some countries that restrict applicants. Majority of them do not mind, but always check this if you are holding an American and another country citizenship. Letter of invitation is optional. Information about the language proficiency. Majority of the countries do not require the local language, but if they do, they will have that information here. Additional comments about the people, the emails, the website. And then the third tab is our most popular tab because this is information about the stipends and the allowances. So if you're selected for Fulbright, then you know how much you would be getting monthly. And some countries are more generous than others, depends on the budgets and the living standards. But this is for you to plan. And just so you know, if you're selected for a Fulbright, all the living expenses and travel in the country is funded by the Fulbright program. And information about additional dependent benefits is listed here. And lastly, the fourth tab is information about the country. We're asked alumni who've done Fulbright in Albania and every country, and this is their experience. They're sharing here information about how it is living in the country. So for every award, we will have dedicated staff member, and their information, names, phone numbers, emails will be listed here. And you can even then once you decide what award you want to apply, check on this green button here. Begin application process is going to take you to another part of our website where we have application instructions. We have information about every component of the application. Make sure you click on these arrows to expand and spend some time in reading through this material. So it's going to be very helpful. And then if you want to apply this year, I strongly encourage you to start the online application as soon as you can, because even within the online application, we do have instructions. Now I'm going to stop sharing here our website. I'm going to go back to our slides. I have a few more slides, I promise, and then we will have some time for questions because I see some questions already. Okay, so let me see. Let me do the this. So here are the 4 types of the Fulbright U.S. Scholar Awards. You noticed as I was doing the website walkthrough that we do have 4 different types. So we do have the postdoc awards that are specific to researchers who have completed their PhD within 5 years of the fellowship start date. The Scholar Awards is the largest category, ranging in grant length, professional profile, and can be for postdoc researchers to full professors and everyone in between. And Distinguished Scholar Awards are intended for more accomplished faculty and also who have at least 13 years of teaching and research experience. So the awards are different in length. We do have opportunities for 1 semester, 2 semesters, and we offer the flex option that you can do these multiple visits within the span of 2 years. Other categories of the Fulbright U.S. Scholar Awards are the Fulbright Public Policy Fellowship. It is unique, intended for early and mid-career professionals and practitioners to serve in placements in a foreign government ministry or institutions in select countries around the world. Graduates of public policy programs at U.S. universities plus early career faculty who are still practitioners are eligible to apply. The Fulbright International Education Administrator Awards are for administrators at U.S. campuses to participate in 2-week seminars abroad. These are not for faculty and do not support research or teaching, but are excellent opportunities for faculty with administrative roles such as dean or chairs and university staff. Now, the big question, how do you select the right award? So first of all, you want to match the country's interests. So every country has their own priorities. So therefore, I showed you just Albania as an example. They do have environmental studies as a priority. So then there are some other countries that they do have like artificial intelligence, for example, in more developed part of Europe. Or, if you work in the STEM or if you're in the other sciences, humanities, etc. So you want to see what they're looking for, what type of expertise they need, and the career profile. And then if you represent that type of certain discipline or expertise, then that's good, the first good start. Then we do have majority of the awards are for one country. And if you're applying for the first time, I strongly encourage you to consider one country. Because if you apply for multiple countries or the global awards, that's like building 2 or 3 applications. If you speak the language, in majority of the countries, it is not required. But if it is required, then definitely consider those if you speak the language. Discipline preferred awards are always better than the all discipline awards whenever you have the opportunity to select between different awards, because there are countries that have like dozens of awards, and then there are countries that are like Germany has only one award. It's all discipline, any discipline. It's very flexible, and then many countries are moving towards that. Why is the project important to this university or institution abroad? And then in the long run, how is a University of Iowa going to benefit from your experience? What are you bringing back? So you need to have some kind of vision. And we do have prompt questions to help you write that narrative. Keep in mind, you can only apply to one award per competition. So I showed you the awards, what they look like. And here are the application components. You can take some time on our website to go through them individually, but keep in mind that we do have the online application form, and the project statement is the backbone of your application where you explain everything, and we have prompt questions to help you write the narrative. There are 2 letters of recommendations that are required, so you'll want to make sure you give your recommenders some enough time to write the letters. And then language proficiency report only when it is required, and letter of invitation when it is required. You must get it from the host institution abroad and then include it in your application. If you're applying for teaching, you must include a course outline or syllabi. If you apply for research, your reference list is required. And if you're in the arts, architecture, creative writing, journalism, portfolio is required. Here are the most important tips for you to consider to put together a strong application. So now you've seen our website, so try to filter down to the best match for you and read these award descriptions carefully, because you will have all the important information you need there, and then start building your project. Start your online application as soon as possible and register your recommenders, because that's going to give them enough time. Everybody's so busy, so you want to, be gracious about it and give people some, time in advance to plan and write a strong recommendation letter. Please do take advantage of our resources. We do have country-specific webinar, discipline-specific webinars, office hours. Every week I host Europe and Eurasia office hours and answer questions live to applicants. You can just attend one of these and see what people are asking, or even ask your question. And we do have application guidance to walk you through the application. Here is the application cycle. So we launched in February, and we're currently accepting applications for 2025, 2026 academic year. So if you're selected, you would be going next fall or spring of 26, depending on when you propose to do your project. The application deadline is September 16. And right after you submit your application, we do a preliminary review of your applications to make sure they're complete. And then after that, if they are complete, applications are reviewed by your US colleagues in the field or close to your field. And then they will decide whether applications are recommended or not for further review. Those applications that are recommended for the further review in the second stage, that happens between November and January, and then you will be notified definitely if your application has been recommended or not. And at the same time, those applications that are recommended are sent to the Fulbright Foreign Scholarship Board for their approval as well. countries review applications between January and June, and then they make the final recommendations or not. And you will be notified before June for sure if you're selected or not. So there is a very thorough review process. So it takes some time. We require from applicants to be patient. I mean, we do not require, but it's always good to think about this is a merit-based competition, and we appreciate your patience throughout the process. But we do communicate with applicants during the process. Now, here's some other resources for applicants. You can connect with Fulbright alumni ambassadors. We do have Fulbright alumni ambassadors who are official representatives of the Fulbright Scholar Program. They're selected from a competition. These are just people who attended the Fulbright U.S. Scholar Program, and then when they return, they apply to become official voice of the Fulbright Program, and they can share their experiences. They can inspire other applicants and just help people navigate the process. If you are selected for a Fulbright U.S. Scholar Program, then you will meet these wonderful people abroad, and you can encourage them and encourage also your institution to bring them to your campus. So we do have the Fulbright Scholar in Residence program where the institutions do apply directly to IIE to host a Fulbrighter at your institution. And then we do also have this opportunity to host a current Fulbright visiting scholar to your institution for 2 to 6 days, and then also host native speaking language teaching assistants to enhance students' understanding of foreign languages and cultures. There's so many different programs, but just to highlight a few here, we do have specific programs for scholars, for faculty. We do have other programs for students listed here, and also for K-12 teachers. You should stay connected with Fulbright if you are applying. So we do have the general email. I'm going to also put in the chat my own email address. Check our website to learn more and explore these amazing opportunities. You can refer your colleagues. And lastly, I would encourage you to follow Fulbright program on social media, because here we share alumni stories, Fulbright program developments, and you will be up to date with everything, what's happening with the Fulbright program. So now I am going to stop sharing, and Russell, over to you for any questions.
Sure. Well, thank you, Afrodita. First of all, that was very informative and extremely helpful. There's no doubt that the resources that you provide will prove to be quite useful to our faculty and staff. One thing that I should mention is that Afrodita is very, very responsive. She's a great advisor to work with, because not only is she quite knowledgeable, she also takes the time to walk people through the process, to give counsel and advice. And there really isn't a better person to shepherd applicants through the process than Afrodita. And because I've heard that more than once from many, many people. And the other thing to underscore is that Afrodita is quite known in Fulbright circles. I had the pleasure of meeting Afrodita for the first time in Washington. I guess it was about 6 weeks ago now. And Afrodita has quite a retinue of people around her, because she's very well connected in Fulbright circles. And as a result, we all benefit from her connections and just her overall knowledge and experience. So a few folks have forwarded questions, and I've got a couple of my own, but let's start with those that came in actually before the webinar. So one participant asked, how should I approach a second fellowship? Because this is something that we see at Iowa on occasion, is that you have a faculty member who gets one Fulbright, and then and that experience goes very well. They further their research profile, and then they want to apply for another one. That can be kind of tricky, though, because the candidate pool is quite competitive, and one could imagine a scenario where someone who is applying for a second fellowship may not be in as favorable a position as someone who's applying for the first time. So, Aphrodito, how do you advise people in that situation?
Great question. Thanks, Russell. Thank you for the kind words, first of all. And these amazing questions are really wonderful because we do have that question come very often that people who want to do another Fulbright, then just think about, if you want to do a similar project, because that's what the reviewers are going to look for. Why do you need to do another Fulbright? Are you building off of previous experience? Are you maybe choosing another country? Is this a new project or is this a continuation of the project? So it's not good to have a repetitive project, something you've done already and you've had, success, but it's always good to have like a new approach, maybe working with a different institution if possible, or even choosing another country, because that way you get another experience and then other people are going to benefit from you, not just the same institution. So all in all to say is just like you have to think about this as a totally new Fulbright application, like you've never done a Fulbright before, or using previous experience. Especially, they want to know how the previous Fulbright experience impacted your career and your colleagues and your institution. What was it different? Like that, if you can make a case there, because they want to know and especially they're going to give priorities to those who have not had a Fulbright before. But if you can make a case, I've seen this, people have done Fulbrights over and over. It is possible. There are no limits to how many Fulbrights you can do in your career, but just like approaching the application with the perspective, new perspective, fresh eyes, it always, helps you put together a stronger case for yourself.
Right. And, one case in point is that just recently we had a faculty member who received 4 Fulbrights. So
Yes, it
clearly
happens.
it does happen. He found the right formula. He found the way to present different topics, different avenues for research, different approaches, and he was able to succeed. So it's definitely possible. All kind of along those lines, at least a little bit, Aphrodita, what would be your advice for faculty in the performing arts? Because I think, some faculty, especially in the humanities, the arts, maybe even the social sciences, might feel, well, the STEM fields are always favored, or maybe business, because that's sort of what's in demand now. Well, how should performing arts faculty approach this type of application?
So we do have countries that are welcoming artists. So we do have those filters I was showing you earlier. So I'm going to actually use this opportunity to share my screen again. And I can show you here on our award page search. You can quickly just search the arts, or if it's another arts media, or first you want to see like how many awards and which countries are prioritizing artists applications in the arts, and then just start reading through those applications. For example, let me just pick one here. Okay, this one in France, it requires French language. So if you speak French and then you are interested in France, then this is a good award. So that's another one. But let me just try, for example, this one in Norway, Digital Culture. It's an award that is welcoming artists as well. And then you have other disciplines included. But definitely you can see like what types of art. So this is digital art, for example. If you do work in digital art, then this is one of the awards, for you. Then look for all the other, let's see, this one in South Korea. I mean, if you don't have a particular country in mind, but if you have a strong reason to go to a country where they do specific kind of arts, they do teaching or research in specific arts media, and they do not have an award focused on art and the arts, and you can consider the old disciplines. So that's fine. But just trying for you to first go and look for the awards that are discipline preferred. And if you find one of these countries that has the discipline that you work on, and you love the country, you love the culture, so these are like some of the reasons to then proceed and continue your application. And of course, you want to look at the letter of invitation, if it's required or not, etc. So this is how you approach, identifying some of these opportunities in the arts. Now, Fulbright has all the possible disciplines represented, except for you cannot do like clinical work in medicine. So you cannot work with patients. That's the only restriction in the Fulbright U.S. Scholar Program Awards. But other than that, everything is almost possible in terms of the disciplines.
Very good, very good. So it's great to know that those opportunities exist, no matter what the field is, and that those resources are available. So similarly, what opportunities are available for instructional track faculty? I think kind of the classic notion that we have is that, the typical Fulbright applicant, at least at this level, for the scholar program, is on the tenure track, might be tenured, might even be fully promoted. But as we know in academe, we have more and more instructional track faculty. In fact, in some colleges, we have as many instructional track faculty as we do tenure track. And so what opportunities exist for them? Is it, basically the same as it would be for tenure track faculty? And I would also add, what about clinical track faculty? Because especially with in the health sciences at an institution like the University of Iowa, we have 5 health sciences colleges, and many of the faculty in those colleges are clinical track. We do have some, in the social sciences and education as well, but instructional track and clinical track, is that a different set of circumstances, or is the process more or less the same?
Yeah, so the process is the same, just looking for these opportunities in disciplines. Like we do have health sciences, we do have, awards that highlight opportunities in even medicine studies. And as long as again, it's just teaching or research without the clinical aspect, that's acceptable. So anything that does not require medical license to work in the country, so it is acceptable within the Fulbright program. So just with the arts, when we were searching for the arts opportunities, the same would apply with, we do have opportunities in public health, we do have them in medicine, medical sciences, and then let me just share my screen again. So I quickly just did a quick search of the awards we have in medical sciences and public health here by filtering. If you can see my screen, so I just filtered. You can use as many disciplines as you like, and here's 63 awards are found that are highlighting medical sciences or public health, or we do even have some awards in nursing. So you can use that as a separate discipline search, etc. So I know that there is one award in Austria that is particularly working with this university that focuses, the Paracelsus Medical University in Austria, that focuses on these medical sciences, neuroscience, nursing, pharmacology, etc. So this is a new award actually that they launched it last year. So definitely look for some of these preferred disciplines, or just like partnership with a specific university. If you work within those sub-disciplines, areas of interest, then this is a great opportunity for you to consider.
Very good, very good. So instructional track faculty, clinical track faculty should definitely avail themselves of these opportunities. This is not a barrier at all.
No,
Very
no,
good.
not at all.
And what about for staff? I mean, we had mentioned this at the beginning. I talked about it a little bit in my introduction. You had mentioned it as well, Aphrodita, in your preliminary remarks. Um, you know, these scholar program opportunities are indeed available for staff. Do you get many applications from from colleagues who identify as staff, or is this an area where Fulbright's trying to make some inroads?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it depends if what their interest in is in. We do receive those, and especially um, from administrators. We do have the International Education Administrator Awards in several countries, and they can do 2-week seminars, especially if they have administrative roles, if they work on international education, building, these relationships with some of these countries, because they can also choose to apply to only one country. But definitely they are, part of the Fulbright US Scholar Program, and they should consider if they find something interesting. And with the 2-week seminars, it's much easier for those who want to consider, because obviously you don't need to take time away or be in a sabbatical. So, but yeah, we've seen, many staff members also apply for the Fulbright US Scholar Program, as they can do, if they don't teach, they can apply for professional projects. That's a category for non-academics. So they would be considered as professionals, and I mean, they're still within academia, but they can serve maybe as consultants. We do have, for example, an award in Kosovo with working directly with the Ministry of Education on their internal policies on higher education. And that's another, impactful opportunity if they want to consider that. So they're not teaching, they're not doing research, but they would just be working with the administration of the Ministry of Education to help them build a stronger and better higher education policy.
I see what you're saying. Okay, well, very good. Because I think we definitely want to get the word out to staff about these possibilities. And similarly, the Fulbright network is extensive. So if there is an alumni network of staff who have done work in a similar area, we would want our applicants to connect with them at least in some way, so that they could get information, and that the people who have the staff members who have gotten Fulbright awards in the past can give advice about their particular situation to new applicants. Very good. And so a couple of more questions in the Q&A. One is, if a candidate has had a major health issue in the past, for example, a heart attack, but is now in good health, are they still eligible?
Yes, of course. Fulbright does not discriminate. Fulbright provides accidental health care, but just like I would want to be a bit careful about the pre-existing condition, because then there is, I'm sure that the applicant would know best, what if they are taking a particular type of medicine, for example, they need to consider using their own health insurance, because Fulbright is just there, is for accidental healthcare, and every country, of course, has different kind of healthcare support. But yes, as part of Fulbright, you would have access to that special healthcare for the applicants. But yes, definitely. I mean, it's also something that the applicant would best know their own health, and if they're feeling comfortable, feeling good about applying, then go for it. Why not?
Right, because, and my guess is that Fulbright doesn't ask about health status, does it? I mean, that's not.
They do do a medical exam,
Okay.
It is part of the once if they're when they're selected, then there is another aspect of it that they do have to go under a medical examination. So basically, they will go to their doctor to get the medical reports and then send those to Fulbright, because that is also part of the then onboarding or part of the pre-departure. So then to get the visa and everything else. But yeah, then they will, evaluate that. But I'm sure, that is, and that is something that another team handles. But this is where I would suggest also connecting with previous Fulbrighters at your campus. And we do have also that information actually on our website. I'm going to do just a quick screen share here to show everybody where you can find information about previous scholars. So when you go to our website, then under Connect, here I just click the scholar directory, and you can search for just the name of the people, but also let's search with University of Iowa just to see who's been from your institution, how many people. Is this the one, Russell, University of
That is
Iowa?
it. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because we do have some other institutions. So you will see here who has had a Fulbright, but also these are Fulbright visiting scholars. So these are people you've hosted at University of Iowa. And then you will see Fulbright US scholars. That's the Americans who went abroad. So they did a program in chemistry. They did a urban planning program, biology in Ireland, etc. So then you can just click one of these names. Let's see this one, for example, and see what was their project about. And you can, of course, contact them if they're still in your institution. We do not provide their emails, but a quick Google search will provide you with their email. Just for privacy, we do not add their emails here because this is public record, but then you'll find out about what they did, what school they went to, etc. So you can just reach out to them if you are in material science and engineering, then or just in general, if you're interested to go to Ireland, or just you want to know like how they navigated leave or how was their experience, any tips they can share. Sometimes they do amazing things, these Fulbrighters. They even read applications. Now, I don't want to promise that. I mean, depending on their time, but they're very generous. And once you've had a Fulbright, then you want to help the whole world get a Fulbright. So they're very resourceful. So I suggest you check the Fulbright Scholar Directory. I'm going to put that in the chat actually so that everybody can see this and access this and just play with it, search for. I don't know if I'm sharing to everybody, Russell.
In the chat, everyone can see it.
Oh, okay, great. Wonderful. Yeah, and Amy just shared it too. All right.
Right. Very good.
Awesome.
Excellent. And then I think this will be our last question, actually, Aphrodita, and that is, so if we find an appropriate award to apply for, to what extent can we connect with people we know in that area who we want to collaborate with on research projects? So what is the relationship between the Fulbright Award and our own creation of a research/creative scholarship project?
Great questions. Thank you. So basically, every application is unique from the other because, Fulbright allows you to use your creativity, to have your own journey, to have your own research. And of course, it's always expected that you're doing this in collaboration with a host abroad, because then why would you need to go abroad and do this project? So you need to have that element incorporated that you are doing this collaborative research. But then you will notice on each award, if you're doing research, they will say you can do your own research of your own choosing, or you can participate in an ongoing research from the institution. So it all depends what you like to do and how you'd like to proceed this. So first check what the country allows. And then if you have flexibility to do it, then you want to present, whatever you would have, the preference to do and the expertise to do it, and if it's feasible project in the end of the day. So yes, the answer is you can do all of the above, or first just check the country award and what is required, what is allowed, and then proceed with what you can do.
Very good. Very good. And then, so Aphrodita, I might ask you just one final question, and this is something that I should have asked at the beginning, but um, tell us a little bit about how you came to IIE and your own
Oh,
sort of trajectory, because you've got a fascinating story.
well, thank you, Russell. Well, so I lived most of my life in Kosovo. I had a very peaceful, calm life. I worked for the US Embassy for 17 years on these amazing programs, all the US government funded programs. The embassy, especially in Kosovo, is the most influential and most respected institution in the country, very influential. The US government has spent a lot of money, a lot of resources, and this is still ongoing, to develop, prosperous and democratic country of Kosovo. So, yeah, so I worked at the embassy from 99 to 2016, when then I was awarded the special immigrant visa by the US government for my contribution in building these, first of all, the exchange programs, because when I started in 99, the embassy just established. We didn't have internet, no phones. It was really like basic resources we had to start an international, an exchange program between Kosovo and the US with limited resources. But then we managed to do that, and I worked there and I enjoyed the work. I was also involved in cultural heritage preservation projects. I was involved in also performing arts projects and alumni work and so many other wonderful initiatives. Plus, I had the chance to meet three US presidents during my time at the embassy. So yeah, and then they said, okay, well now after 17 years, it looks like, do you want to come and live in the US with your family? So then I couldn't say no, because I wanted to give my children better opportunities in education. And therefore, we decided to move. And here I am now. My daughter graduated college 2 years ago. My son is a senior in college. My husband works as an architect here. So I think we touched a little bit of the American dream, but at least for the education component. And then I continued to work what I love to do, because we all had to start from scratch. It was like new immigrants, fresh off the boat, apply for jobs, apply for opportunities. So, and there we are. Still, it's going to be 8 years now. We are now US citizens, and we go back to Kosovo every year.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what an amazing story. And it's inspiring. I just love to hear immigrant stories, especially people who really have developed a close relationship to the United States and have really succeeded here. It just warms my heart. And so we're delighted by your success. We're delighted by your collaboration with us, and we're grateful for all you do to promote the Fulbright Scholar Program, and we're grateful for all of your work with IIE. So, just in closing, I want to thank Aphrodita. I want to thank Karen Walksmith, Ann Knutson, Amy Green, Dan Vorwerk, all of our audience members. We put several useful emails in the chat. We have recorded this session. We'll post it on our YouTube channel within the next 7 to 10 days. So please feel free to reach out, and we want to encourage you to apply for the Fulbright Scholar Program. You've got a wonderful expert here who can guide you through the process. So thanks to everyone, and we'll be seeing you soon.
Thank you so much, Russell, and thanks everyone, and good luck with your application. Stay in touch.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.